Poisonrana.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Poisonrana Live. You found us in whatever podcast app you're listening to right now. Maybe it's Apple, maybe it's Spotify. Hit that download. Goes a long way. But it's Sunday, May 31st, which means
we are live on youtube.com/@PoisonRanaPod. Hello, YouTube room. How we doing? And potentially, hello, TikTok. We're trying something new. If it fails, I'm sorry, but we're trying to simulcast, just like the WWE, WWF, WCW Final Nitro. We're attempting something today on this beautiful Sunday.
simulcasting. Look at that. Millennials trying to not only stream on YouTube, but TikTok as well. So if this works, bravo. If it doesn't, then we'll try again next time. All gas, no brakes, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Sol Ruka failed on her first, 4 main roster appearances before she finally got that title. So
sure,
if at first you don't succeed, all of that.
Yeah, we'll never give up. We're going to talk about some wrestling. We are Poisonrana. We are Braden and Davie. We talk about pro wrestling. We do this every week. Sunday usually is our day. Sunday is the Frogs Day. So hello, all the frogs and friends and the Poison pals. Give us a follow. If you're new to us on the TikToks, or maybe you use it, follow us on the Instagram for our lovely reels that we've been posting. Shout out, Surin. And YouTube, Spotify, like I said, Apple, all the little things. A little follow and a download and a like, or even some nice comments go a long way. Even bad comments. Fuck it. I don't read them all, but it's fine. Thanks for listening is usually what I'll reply. But thank you.
Honestly, it's true. Like we've mentioned a few times now, we're really trying to grow Poisonrana. We've been at a steady pace for quite a while. We want more people to find out about us and to follow our stuffs and hopefully like us. And our good friend Surin's been helping a lot with our shorts and stuff like that. But yeah, those shorts we've got on YouTube, just giving a thumbs up and a comment, even I hate you guys. It helps the algorithm. So tell us your thoughts, good or bad. We want more people finding us, which would be awesome.
Yeah, we've been covering wrestling for quite a while. We work for Post Wrestling, but this is our offshoot podcast where we do whatever the hell we want. And Tuesdays is NXT talk on Up Next, but here it's whatever goes. And we host like wrestling parties in our city, and we travel and go to wrestling events and all over. So if you hit that follow, you'll see that we've just got back from Double or Nothing in New York. We did a bunch of pods covering that, the whole show, the whole shebang. We did some Snap Ranas on our Patreon where we were bar hopping throughout New York City and going to Broadway and all these fun things you can hear as well on our Patreon. So we like to have fun, and we like to talk about a whole different variety of stuff. And today on this episode, we have WWE Clash in Italy, which just finished a few minutes ago. We're going to run through the whole show, but then we'll also talk about yesterday night's AAA Los, of course, my spell check turns it into Los Nachos de Grande, which doesn't sound half bad either, but Los Noches de Grande, the Battle of the Greats or something of the Greats?
The Night of the Greats.
The Nachos of the Great. The Great Nachos really is what that sounds like. But we're going to go through both shows, including Mask v Mask and everything from today. But yeah, there's a lot of wrestling to talk about this weekend, and it never stops. So we cover everything here at Poisonrana, and we'll go through all the wrestling from this past weekend and then some. But it's summertime now. We got to get through this so we can go enjoy the outside. But it's since coming back from New York, I've just been battling this cold. And I feel like I had a cold, and then it went away, and then we went to New York, and then I got sick again. And then the weather is nice, and then like I'm having like a runny nose and a headache, and it's glorious. It's just beautiful outside. I'm like, this is the worst thing to have. Like a summer cold is the worst. And then on top of that, big pimple inside my nose I can't get. So today is going swimmingly, but I'm here and I'm fighting the good fight.
I've caught it as well. I think for a couple of days I was kidding myself that it was seasonal allergies, and I was waking up and I was like, man, I need to get that humidifier out again. I'm so dry right now. And then I realized, maybe I'm sick. Maybe I'm just not well. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but we're both battling through it. I mentioned off air, if you see my camera go off all of a sudden, don't panic. I'm just blowing my nose. All right.
Yeah, fair enough. I have some Kleenex handy as well, but yeah, I feel like I'm finally getting back to normal, but lots of liquids, lots of soup, all the proper things, and then we can really kick this summer into gear. So wherever you are, hopefully the summer vibes are coming, because tomorrow's June 1st. Pay your rent and go outside. It's hopefully going to be summer from here on out. Say goodbye to May and hello summer officially. So I'm excited to go outside. We're going to meet up later. We're meeting a listener. There's a listener, Brian. Shout out Brian. I wonder if he's listening, or maybe listening a little on delay, because he's a longtime listener, big fan of the show, and he's visiting Toronto because he took his wife to see Bruno Mars last night. So I was giving him all the different tips of things to go and do in the city, as we always do to our listeners. Feel free. Don't be shy. Hit us up. And I said, Brian, fuck it. Let's just get a drink later tonight, and hopefully we survive. And he says he has a 9 a.m. flight in the morning tomorrow, so we can't get Brian too messed up, but we shall see.
That's okay. I'm working in the morning as well. Yeah, so fair. We'll behave, but hopefully after this show, still enough time to catch some summer rays. Not the former dance partner of Fandango.
BFFs? Yeah.
Yes, the literal summer rays outside.
Well, you can hear us talk about Summer Rae on a show called Was Next, where we go through old retro NXT, and the BFFs are running wild. Summer is in the hunt for Charlotte's NXT women's title. You can listen to all the episodes in our Was Next series. You can check out all our best match evers. We've recently done Hulk Hogan and Hiroshi Tanahashi. We've recently did a review of upYOURS as David selected Kayfabe, a wrestling mockumentary. And then just the other day, we mentioned we were in New York. We went to Dog Day Afternoon. Shout out Brandon from New Jersey, who recommended and let you know that this production was going on with John Bernthal, the Punisher and the Thing cousin, in this Broadway show of Dog Day Afternoon. And we loved it so much. We were inspired that it made us go and watch the original 1975 movie, Dog Day Afternoon, starring Al Pacino. And we talked all about it. We reviewed the movie, we reviewed the play essentially, and then we also talked about the true story that inspired this whole thing. So a fantastic movie. If you've not watched it, it's a little bit of a cinema club on our Patreon as well. So you get all these pods. It's $5, patreon.com/Poisonrana. Check us out. If you've ever wanted to support us and check out some of the shows, we have so many wrestling content, but even weird movie reviews like this one. And we had a lot of fun talking about some Al Pacino and some John Bernthal and 70s movies. Kick ass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we've got a few plans. We're trying. We've got a few shows we want to do coming up on our Patreon. But we'd like a guest for them. So we are inspired by the recent Darby Allin MJF title v hair and the Mask versus Mask last night to maybe do a best match ever, Mask versus Mask, Mask versus hair down the line. So once we have our hopeful guest tied up for that, we'd like to put that on the Patreon very, very soon, as well as finding a guest for our next episode of The Champ Is Here, which we will get back to. And our patrons, our World Champ patrons, let us know if you have a pick for us for your upYOURS, because we'd like to get round to doing some of them. But yeah, we'll be going back this week to talking about Summer Rae and Charlotte and Sasha Banks and Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze and the gang from 2014 NXT in a little journey we call Was Next. That'll be available on the Patreon this week, as well as a brand new Behind the BDE.
Ooh.
And well, I mean, I haven't told the story of my last day at work yet, so I think that's got to be a World Champ family members exclusive.
Think about the last time we did a Behind the BDE. You had come back from your trip. You had not left your job yet, and you had not left your. Well, maybe I'll save it for Behind the BDE recording this week. Davey's got a lot to explain. It's a very interesting story, I'm sure.
Got a lot to get off my chest. You know?
All family members, World Champ patrons, you get behind the BDE, but you, if you sign up to that tier, you also get access to all the behind the BDEs that we've done. Only family members can access this X-rated show. But then you also get to pick stuff for us to review, whether it's movies or whatnot. So if you are listening and you want to become a World Champ, join now. Friends get access to mostly all the shows, but the World Champs, the family, get behind the BDE, and they get to join us for certain shows. So if you want something, maybe a wrestling pay-per-view or a movie, TV show you want us to review and join us to talk about it, think about signing up. And if you already are family members, we love you so much. You keep us going. Get your picks in, because we would love to cycle through. We've been trying to get through people's picks and whatnot. So please let us know what your picks coming up. Wrestling, movies, whatever it is. We will talk all about it. But we have a lot to talk about. I feel like, should we start with what happened today and maybe work our way backwards to Nachos
I think
to Grande?
So. I think so. Let's do a bit of time travel. A bit of Time Cop. You guys ever seen Time Cop? Yes. Well, we'll start in the present.
Have I mentioned, maybe I go to too many wrestling shows, but when I went to Dynamite in Edmonton and I took my cousin who has no idea even what like AEW was, he loved the show. But when it flipped from Dynamite to the Collision taping and Tony Khan came out, I word for word, like beat by beat, went, "Have you guys ever seen the movie Time Cop?" And my cousin was like, "How did you know he was going to say that?" I'm like, "Well, have you ever seen the movie Time Cop?" And now he's added like his own Titantron thing, and it's Time Cop, like Titantron. It even shows the picture of the movie on the screens now when he does that bit. So anyone who goes to these
isn't his like
tapings,
his office door is the Time.
His office is his name. Yeah. That is the other white whale that we will review one day. And I know your roommate Goldie Graham wants to do that. So that's one day. We missed the 25th anniversary or something or whatnot. So we'll have to wait till 30th or whatever. But yes, let's do some Time Cop, and we'll talk about the AAA show, the Mask v Mask, after we go through Clash in Italy. But let's go to Italy, ciao bella, and talk about some WWE Clash in Italy. WWE, the Fed. Love tuning into a WWE program after seeing some great news at postwrestling.com about WWE lately. But here we are talking about it. God damn it, take my money, I guess.
Oh, we'll talk about that later as well. Lawsuits and Langus and all that.
And what, like putting money on things that you're going to promote? Is that legal? Anyways, I don't know. Never mind.
I think we've learned this president does whatever the fuck he wants to do, right? Who cares about laws and Congress? And, yeah, all of that
conspiracies, shit. Coincidences. CCs.
Yeah.
Anyways, Clash in Italy. Let's talk about it, I guess. This was a show that happened today. Were you excited going into this?
Somewhat. I think I always enjoy these European tours. I think it elevates the show. I think a hot crowd can really help a show. We saw that in New York last week. That crowd that we were a part of in Queens were awesome. Like walking towards the stadium and already hearing the volume was so exciting, and it just elevates everything. And I think from SmackDown in Barcelona, they had a hot crowd there, and then this show, I always enjoy these European crowds. We haven't had a PLE in Italy before, so interested to see what kind of chants they have going on and things. And I often find after like a hot buzzworthy AEW show, I do find it feels like the actual wrestling steps up a gear in WWE. I wouldn't say it matches what we saw last week, but I do feel like you sense a bit of a kick up the arse of some of the performers and go out there and maybe give it a bit more than we're expected to. And I also feel this is still one of those 5-match shows, but I started on a bit of delay, so got to skip the commercials. But I didn't feel robbed of match length particularly in majority of these matches today as well. So
I've learned my lesson. Watching these things on delay is the only, or the next day is the only way. Like, so I don't have any complaints about ads and stuff because I think I started this show like at like 3:25 or something, and I managed to finish on time. So I don't know what. There was a lot of scary movie ads, which I still managed to get in there. I feel like I've seen the whole movie now. I feel like I've seen every good joke in that.
Because I know a lot of these ads are like region specific, right? There was one which was just this like travel vlog.
Yes,
that went
Italy
on for like 3 minutes. Yeah, I quite enjoyed that. That was nice.
Showing me some Europe. Yeah, like rivers, lakes, like pasta. It looked good. Yeah, it made me want to go to Little Italy tonight. It's like all to remind you they're not in the World Cup. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, never mind. I'm not going to say that again. I'll leave that out. Sorry. At least you had Clash in Italy, okay? All right?
Yeah.
We had that. Yeah, so I think watching this, like, there is a lot of ads in between. And you know what? Hey, ads is what makes the world go round. Money, money, money. And I totally get it. But there is a drastic way, like, I am... There's the one flip of the coin and the other flip. Like, last week at AEW, like, there's match after match after match, and especially when you're there live, you have to pick and choose when A, it's time to go to the washroom, or B, you need water or something, but there's not really any breaks. Whereas WWE, there's so much time to like walk around your living room and go for a smoke or whatever. So there's a medium somewhere, and it's definitely watching a little on delay.
I cooked some dumplings, I put away laundry, I vacuumed the plate, like, okay, I didn't quite vacuum, but you can get a lot done during these WWE shows.
Whereas like the other, it's the content. There's like double the matches and stuff, but I feel like there is still not a whole lot of wrestling on these things, but there's just enough. If you say like watch on if you watch later the night, or I love daytime wrestling. It's just unfortunate that now it's such a lovely day out that I wish it was in the nighttime so we could have been outside when it's nice out.
Yeah, do this in February, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, do this when it's not summertime here, because I do love the daytime stuff. Like, I'm looking forward to like All In is going to be daytime for most North Americans and stuff. Like, I love the daytime pay-per-views, and I think we can bring that back. We had All Out in Toronto in September, and that was a daytime show, and that was great. Everyone felt energetic. So bring back daytime wrestling, bring it back.
Hell yeah.
But yes, we're in Italy and we're clashing.
So we start things off. This is on, if you are in the US, the ESPN TV feed rather than the streaming app, opening with Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the undisputed WWE Championship.
Yes, Cody Rhodes mentioning, was it an interview that he had done where Ethan Page asked him if he was on the Italian tour, the Europe tour. And he's like, yeah, I'm WWE champion, bro. Like, of course I'm on the tour. I'm on the pay-per-view match defending my title. But it's not a PLE because it's here for free on the, ESPN TV or whatever it is that people use here. But I guess the Randy Orton feud will eventually continue because this mask that has the, like, dented eye or something, like he's going forward, like he's coming back he's looking for revenge with this damaged eye. So I wonder if SummerSlam is maybe the potential rematch. They're going to do the exact playbook from last year where the WrestleMania match, Cody and Cena sucked. So they redid it at SummerSlam and everyone loved it. Let's just do that again. Yeah, let's just do that again. Take out Travis Scott, take out Pat McAfee. Boom, there you go.
I feel that Randy's injury, I think they were going to go to Backlash. Apparently we were getting the tag match, right? With Randy and Pat versus Cody and Jelly Roll. And then that got pulled. It seems that Randy might be a little banged up and taking some time off to heal. And unfortunately here, I feel like Gunther was collateral damage out of all this, where they needed an opponent for Italy, for Cody, and kind of hot-shotted Gunther going across to SmackDown and going for this title. But it kind of felt like, they brought it up on commentary. We had those 2 Royal Rumble finishes, which were Cody and Gunther at the end, where Cody won both times. And I think especially the first one, I remember being, this is good. This is a match I want to see. Cody v Gunther. One day, this is going to be the main event for the title. It's going to feel huge. And then we had them for the crown jewel, the champion v champion. Saudi show feels a bit thrown together, a bit of a throwaway match, kind of like the match before we actually get the match. It very much felt like that the first time round. And there was some good stuff, but not the most memorable thing in the world. And then Gunther's had this incredible run, you know, putting out Cena, AJ, and Gunther. Cena, AJ, and Goldberg. And now Pat. He's going for the title. And Pat. Now he's going for the title. And unfortunately, it felt really rushed together. It felt, okay, I'm on SmackDown. I want the title. We're doing it on a B show early in Cody's this reign of his run. And it kind of felt this build. I thought they did a great job. I really enjoyed actually the promo segment they had on SmackDown building this. I thought both sounded great and both finally made this feud feel interesting. But it just felt too rushed. And I wish they didn't go for this. I wish, in a way, I wish they had more of a throwaway opponent for Cody, because I feel this has derailed Gunther's momentum.
I think last week, wasn't I just saying, like, hey, the Gunther run lately, everything feels thrown together. The Seth match at Mania felt thrown together. Yep. And I would say that match was pretty unmemorable. I haven't loved what they've done with him. Like, this is the guy that retired the greatest of all time. It doesn't feel like that at all. He seems like he's getting slim pickings here. He gets the leftovers. He gets the injury, like, storylines. Oh, sorry, we can't go with that. Let's go with you and Seth. Oh, sorry, we can't go with Randy. Let's go with Cody and Gunther. Like, it feels up and down since the Jey Uso stuff last year. Like, I have not loved Gunther's run since that stuff. Sure, there's been some great moments and stuff, but I'm definitely not as high on him lately. He's easily one of the best in the company. And I feel like if you let him do what actually made him, like, you know, popular and made people love him, I feel like he's lost his luster a little bit to me. And it's funny that Cody in that promo, like, kind of said what, you know, all the internet wrestling people, like, oh, I missed him when he was Fat Gunther or Fat Walter or whatever. Yeah. And it's like Cody made reference to, like, oh, you would be killing it on the indies if you were still some big dude. But I don't know. I wasn't as hyped for this match because I also felt like the first time you described it, like, it didn't feel like the proper way. And this time around kind of felt that way too. I just feel like they haven't butchered this guy. Don't get me wrong. He could easily be strapped up next month and be, you know, top contender. I just feel like since the Jey Uso stuff over a year ago, or more than that, like a year and a half ago, I haven't been invested into him. And then, like, the AJ match didn't necessarily hit for me. The Cena match was fun, but I don't know. A lot of his stuff hasn't. It's just been playing safe and lazy booking with his character.
You've had two big moments where with a character where you really should have just strapped the rocket to them right after, and that's Gunther defeating Cena. He should have been champ like
right away
next month, essentially, and have a one of his epic runs with it. And it's the Oba-Femi Brock match again. Like, it should have been Oba beats Brock and then challenges Roman at Backlash and beats him or whatever. I think they're two, and maybe it's you know, because we're hearing how much TKO are getting involved with you know, their who the stars are and stuff, and they're kind of like, oh, we got to keep it Cody Roman because they're 1A and 1B. It now makes the Cena retirement, the AJ retirement, feel like it's for nothing when Gunther's just been drifting around since then.
Yeah, no, I totally feel that way. And just the stuff that he's been handed is almost like, well, we trust this guy, therefore we know it can be good. We know the Jey Uso stuff. We know the Pat McAfee, Goldberg, Cena, AJ, even this. Like, this match was fine. I think this was a step up from their last encounter, but I felt like you said, after watching a lot of wrestling last weekend, WWE, the style for me has, like, it's not exciting. The matches, no matter how good, don't feel like they get to like, if you compare any of the wrestling on Clash to some of the wrestling that we'll talk about from AAA, there's a difference there. There's like almost like they're allowed to wrestle without these like WWE handcuffs, if that makes sense. And I felt that way about the style. It's when I watch Seth Rollins wrestle, when I watch Gunther, Cody, all these guys that I know are amazing and they're at the top in WWE for a reason. But like, I know Punk and Roman was one that definitely stood out of like, that was a great WWE WrestleMania match. But the WWE style, I say that because it is a thing, and I am just not a fan of it. Like, it's so slow. It's like watching wrestling underwater sometimes, if that makes sense. When you watch all this other crazy stuff, you know, lucha stuff, Japanese stuff, AEW, like, it just feels like sometimes the style is too copy paste, the same formula, the same stuff. And I don't know, I have felt that for a while, and it's Gunther that I feel like that is definitely the case, where his matches get to like that, and that is it. They never go like to that level he used to go.
I half agree with you. I wouldn't call this match slow. I actually, that was one of my notes on it. I thought they both worked at a good pace and good intensity. And I think that's something I really like with Cody, is he does bring that extra bit of, you know, stink, if you will, to, I mean, the picture there, him delivering his punches and stuff. I do feel he has a bit more intensity than a lot of the roster. And I thought they paced it well with like Cody's quick bursts and then Gunther with the sleeper. Like, and I quite liked how Gunther was catching the sleeper from, didn't he do it off of I think it was a Cody cutter where he grounded him with a sleeper. And I quite liked that they're introducing that Gunther, it's one of those moves he can grab you from anywhere, and we know it's a finish. We know it's put out 3 top guys, right? But I felt this match suffered the same way the Seth Rollins match suffered with Gunther, where when it finally felt like we were reaching that final gear, it ended. Yeah. And it was like, I'm watching it and I'm going, okay, this is pretty good. They're taking it to each other. And I didn't expect Gunther to win, but there was part of me that was like, he should win this. And I feel Cody's maybe more open to dropping the title every now and then than Roman is. And I was maybe expecting maybe the way out, like you'll get out of jail card with this match is Sammy and the Sammy involvement. And maybe Sammy helps Cody because Cody's been going at him that like, oh, you didn't help me, you're a coward, like all this sort of stuff. Or maybe he tries to screw Cody and inadvertently takes out Gunther or something. I was expecting some sort of way to protect Gunther coming out of this match.
That's the rope. The finish, though. The finish is he's complaining that his foot was on the rope. So
he like what was it? He like rolled back, so like as he was being pinned, his like top of his foot was on the rope.
Yeah, his foot did touch the rope, but then it did bounce off, and the ref didn't see it. So that in the way is trying to use that as a protection of him. Like again, I could see them rematching this at the next show or Saturday night's main event or whatever the next step is. But I that's what I mean. I felt finally these two it was going. It was like the second half of the match where they're finally giving it their all, and then the legs get cut out when I finally felt like it was cooking. And I just feel like that's the case with. I think this was a better match than their first time at that Crown Jewel one, but it still left me wanting more. But again, with that finish, I think there is more. So maybe that was the case. But if we do go back to this, maybe it's an even bigger step up. But
I don't want to go back to this unless Gunther's winning it. You know,
then
I think he can have it as the gripe. He can have the rope hit there, and it's like, well, we all know referee's decision's final, and if you want another shot, you're going to have to work for it. But I mean, you could rematch this. Obviously, there's that option for Gunther, but unless he's winning it, I wouldn't do it. I think we've definitely lost momentum with this character since the Cena match, and they need to try and recapture that some way. And I think it's by just strapping him up.
The next one is what? Crown Night of Champions, June. So
yeah, I could see Sammy for that being in Saudi Arabia, and I am enjoying that story. I thought Cody and Sammy had an excellent segment on SmackDown this week. Like I think Sammy's playing his frustration really well. And like, again, it's the character I always enjoy is like the justified heel turn. Like when it's kind of the crowd are turning against you because you're being a bit of a whiny bitch, but you're kind of correct in the stuff you're being a whiny bitch about. So Sammy and Cody are great performers when it comes to that. And I think they've been doing a really good job. But so I could see them doing that in Saudi. And I think that is a match Sammy can lose because he's a heel right now. And when he does eventually win that title, he's got to be a babyface.
Yeah, he's not winning as a heel for sure. But next year, WrestleMania, that's when Sammy wins it, right? I would imagine, yeah. I thought this was probably my favorite match on this show. Like, there was some good stuff, especially, like I said, towards the end, but it did leave me wanting a little bit more. I didn't feel like it was the ultimate match that I know these two maybe could deliver on. And again, I know you thinking it might be Sammy, maybe a triple threat. I do think they're going to lean into this finish, if it's not like a SmackDown rematch or something, which then could either lead into Gunther winning this thing or leading into a different feud for him, someone else. But
I actually quite like the idea of a triple threat. And I like even more the idea of Gunther pinning Sammy to win the title in Saudi in a triple threat. Because then you can spiral off and do Sammy and Cody in a non-title feud. And you can have Gunther defend it for a bit before Cody eventually goes against him again.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll play that. I think they'll be far more safe and just give Cody a win. But
yeah, I
like that idea.
Book it. Well, we went from that to our next match, Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. It's the battle of the muscle mommies here.
Yeah.
In Italy. Who's got the bigger biceps between the two?
But now they've both got a little squad. You got Rhea with Alexa and Charlotte, and Jade with her new baddies of B-Fab and Michin.
B-Fab and Michin, the baddies.
Michin.
Love it so much. Yeah, you know what? I don't think I was necessarily looking forward to this, but you see the visual of these two, like they are massive, they're giant, they are muscle mommies, and just the visual of these two. Now, they wrestled at WrestleMania, right? We got the one-winged angel from Jade.
Yep.
But this, like, I don't think this was necessarily bad. It's just I don't necessarily care about some of these. Jade definitely in WWE I'm not necessarily a big fan of, but you can't deny that these two should be booked, because you see these two big women, Amazonian women fighting here. You're like, yeah, I get why you would book this. So, and the crowd seemed to be into it. So I don't know. I like the finish. Like Rhea looks like a beast when she headbutts her and then hits the riptide finally and pins her. And again, Jade is big, so hitting this big move on her, it looked impactful and made Rhea Ripley continue to look like a giant megastar that she is in WWE. So I walk around downtown Toronto all the time. I see people wearing, guys, girls, whatever, wearing Rhea Ripley shirts. Like, she's got to be one of the more popular stars in wrestling right now, and here she is just crushing Jade. So I didn't hate this by any means. It was Rhea looking strong. That's what I got from this.
I love this, actually. I think this is Jade Cargill's best match of her career. I thought somehow like Rhea works with Jade. And I really enjoyed their WrestleMania match. I thought not necessarily, because sometimes, your best opponents are the David and Goliath kind of things. Right. And actually there's a lot of like hoss fights that just don't work. Like, how many Undertaker matches in his career where they like, oh, you're big, this guy's big, that should be good, and they're terrible. And like his best opponents were the guys who bump around for him. But somehow I think this is where Jade has been looking her best. I quite enjoyed their WrestleMania match. That surpassed my expectations so much. And I thought that one felt really like, it's WrestleMania. They spend more time rehearsing, planning out their matches a bit more. And it felt a bit like that, but it worked. Whereas this, I like how, because Jade is big as well, it allows Rhea to do stuff we don't see her do quite as much against the smaller opponents, and actually wrestle a bit more like a cruiserweight. She's moving a lot quicker. She's throwing in way more of those drop kicks and moves off the top rope and stuff like that, which you don't always see from her. And yeah, that headbutt looked awesome. I thought they timed some of the near falls really well, because when Jade hit Jaded, I thought that could be it, because they might want to flip-flop this back between the two. And I thought they timed... Michin was ropey there with that rope break, but got it just in time. But I thought they timed that and then the Charlotte rope break really well. This is the most impressive Jade has been, and these two clearly work well with each other. Maybe we build to at Night of Champions or whatever down the line. Maybe we just do a 6-woman with the two teams. But I like this a lot. This was actually one of my more favorite matches of the show. I thought it was pretty good.
It felt like the WrestleMania one. Like, I think Jade has definitely stepped up from what she has looked like in the past, like pretty green. And I think maybe wrestling with Rhea maybe has stepped her up a little bit, right? But yeah. I think keeping the title on Rhea for a while is the right choice at this time. I wouldn't have her drop it anytime soon.
All right. And then we had the rematch. The still retired Brock Lesnar working a match even though he's retired. What the fuck?
Oh, right. Yes. He's retired, but he's wrestling. Right?
Yes.
So he did retire or he didn't retire? Is he fighting for Netflix or is he not fighting for Netflix?
He's retired, but he signed a contract specifically for this, like a one-match contract for this match. So
okay.
He's
it's almost like if he signed a contract for one more match, but then won the match, therefore the guy who lost the match wants a rematch to the rematch. It's almost like he should put his career on the line, especially if the third match is located where the one guy is from. If you catch my drift. That's probably where we're going with this SummerSlam retirement thing. Because I'm retired, I'm not retired, I'm coming back for this match. Whatever. Brock and Oba 2 here in Italy. I think we've watched so much wrestling that like doing the fake out retirement thing, it's been done. Shout out Terry Funk, but I didn't buy it. I don't think a lot of people bought it. When you saw Paul Heyman shoving his own thumbs into his eyes to try to make himself cry when Brock was taking his boots off. It just makes sense. Minnesota stadium show for SummerSlam. Like, how would you not have Brock Lesnar doing that? And maybe he actually did retire, and that's why he's out at Home Hardwares in Saskatchewan doing meet and greets for barbecues or something or whatever that he did this week. I don't know, but we got this rematch here today, and it was kind of like the first one. It's just the other way around, where Brock gets the upper hand. And well, I smell a rematch, and it sounds like it could be SummerSlam. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I haven't liked this story at all. I think at least, when Undertaker took his boots off and everything at WrestleMania 33,
also didn't mean anything.
But at the time, I think he was. You see that Last Ride documentary, and he wanted to be done. He was like, I'm facing Roman Reigns. I'll put him over. I'll leave. And then the match was kind of shit.
So bad.
He wanted to make good. But I at least thought they did the way around it with Cena goading him week after week, calling him out, like wanting a match with him, and doing the return. It made sense. Whereas I actually thought the retirement angle was pretty good at WrestleMania. I thought it was kind of cool seeing Brock seem a bit more human than we've ever seen him, showing a bit of emotion. And I thought in that moment it was great. He's lost to Oba. He realizes he's not the beast anymore. He's not the ruler, and it's a passing of the torch. And if you ended it there, great. If you wanted to bring him back, I think you needed more, whether it's, Gunther and this favor and maybe attacking Paul Heyman. You needed something to goad the beast to come back. and to break that retirement because you're going after his manager. What does he call him? His advocate, or whatever. Whereas this was just, psych, I'm not retired, I'm back. And I just thought, I found it so lazy. I didn't mind seeing the match again. I hated the story going into this. I enjoyed this. Like it's very much that Brock Goldberg, like quick sprint spam finishers. But when you're doing F5s to a guy the size of Obafemi, it is pretty impressive watching either guy throw the other guy around. And I felt it went a little longer maybe than the Mania match. But I think we all knew once this match was booked, as you said, it makes sense. It's now one apiece. We'll get the rubber match, most likely SummerSlam. But if it is a retirement match, I feel you've lost that moment already.
Yeah.
Because we've just seen him do it. Like, why waste that? Like, why waste that? Or even do, I don't know.
Okay.
Like this should be the big retirement thing at SummerSlam. And
that'll be
retires again, so what? We saw you retire 4 months ago.
Okay, so you could do the match at the Night of Champions, because that's the Saudi show, and like, hey, big Saudi checks. Yeah. I'm sure these two would like that. But you could easily do the story where Oba could goat Brock into being like, hey, you faked a retirement to get revenge on me. That's what it took to beat me. You hit 7. This whole match was just 7 F5s, and that was it. And then he finally pinned him. Right? So what's 7? It's a lot of F5s. It's like F35, F40. There's a lot of Fs in there. But you could easily have Oba be like, you faked a retirement. How about you actually put retirement on the line? And in your own city, in your own state, I will retire you. And that's the storyline going in. Yeah. And then he does. And then there you go. You finally have Brock ride off into the sunset. And then he can go sell wood chips or go wrestle for Netflix or whatever the fuck he wants to do and hunt moose and shit. But this was fine because the crowd ate it up, and it's two giant dudes, and seeing him destroy Oba does make you want to see this match again. I don't care about this match, to be honest. I don't really care about seeing Brock Lesnar too much, but it makes sense, and tie up the loose ends while you can do it, I guess, and help as long as this gets Oba over, and I think it already did after with the WrestleMania thing. Like, Oba's got to be one of the biggest stars right now, so it has worked, and I don't think anything they do can mess that up. But then again, it is WWE. So I don't think Oba loses anything by losing here, because it was just a cheap attack, and then Brock like steamrolled him and crushed him with those 7 F5s. So it does make me think that we will do the retirement rematch at SummerSlam in the stadium, and it would probably feel like a big deal.
So you don't see us ever getting the Brock Gunther match at all?
True. Maybe you do that in between, before the retirement. I don't know. Maybe we don't go to that match. Maybe Brock is like, I'll do this feud and that's it. Or
maybe Brock doesn't retire at SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, are we, I guess, like, while people like him, while the crowds are hot for him, does it make sense to just continue to, like, does Brock actually care? Does Brock actually really want to be out here and having matches go more than 5 minutes? Probably not. Like, Brock always seemed like he didn't care. You know, Brock always has these allegations of not actually caring about whatever. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Brock Lesnar allegations, and maybe it'll inspire you to read up about why I don't care to see him on TV that much lately. So I hope he does retire, in all honesty, and respectfully so. Like, maybe he could go away for a while. I don't know. But looks like people care and want to go. And WWE fans, UFC fans, TKO people, maybe they don't want to let that go right away. What's that new sports thing where they're allowed to do steroids, like, legally and freely?
Enhanced games?
Yeah, do they do enhanced games? Is that what it's called? Of course that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Do they do fighting in that? I'm sure they've contacted Brock.
Did you hear there was only, so that they were going to give, I think it was $1 million bonus to anyone that broke a world record.
Okay.
And one world record was broken in those games.
Okay.
And it was someone who didn't take any performance enhancing drugs.
Oh, they don't win then. No, don't give them the money. No. This is steroids only. And
Yeah.
that sounds ridiculous, but of course that's a thing in 2026. Yeah, like it seemed like this crowd in Italy, like Brock is a draw still for some fans, for WWE fans. So maybe he doesn't retire,
I think
but
also,
I don't know.
especially these crowds that maybe haven't been to many WWE events
Shows.
before, haven't seen Brock Lesnar. It is the first time you see Brock Lesnar in person. It is impressive. Like I remember our friend Emil Rasmus, when it was it Elimination Chamber or something in the city, and he was like, "Whoa, that's the first time I've seen Brock. He's huge." There is still that spectacle element about him to people, jaded wrestling fans like us, and especially people who, do care about the allegations in that lawsuit, are not too bothered about seeing him. But I do understand why people still get excited. He's still one of the biggest names in wrestling all these years.
I understand. I understand. Like, people who don't watch wrestling kind of do know who he is, whether it's like UFC, like he is a name. I totally get it. But even before all this stuff, I just feel like we've been kind of tired of him. But they're going to ride that bike till the wheels falls off, I'm sure. But anyways, as long as this, like, using this to help get Oba, which will definitely be the case, like Oba will get his lick back, and that'll be a big deal. And then Oba can go for a title and stuff, because I do feel like he's the big project to become champion in the next year or so, easily. Like, but within a year, this guy should be a champion in WWE. Like, they do the Oba fan cam now, where they cut to people in the crowd doing the walk and everything. ESPN people doing it. Like, it's one of the most over things. Also, the walk just goes well with any music that you listen to. It just works really well. But anyways.
Yeah. We then had Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruka for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, so this was this is a rematch from Sol trying to chase the dragon.
Saturday night's main event, where it was the, DQ finish?
Right.
Went 4 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in this match. We've watched Sol Ruka a lot on NXT, so we're pretty up to date with what she can do. And I think Becky has been a good... I like the Becky heel stuff, but I think in maybe the last year, I've not loved it as much as some of the stuff she's done in the past, but I still am a huge fan. I thought there was some good back and forth in this match, but I feel like it didn't get up to maybe expectations I thought it was going to be. Maybe I've seen better from Becky and I've seen better from Sol in the past. And I don't know. There was some ugliness to this match. Maybe if it was, in NXT, I did always say on Tuesdays on Up Next, like, Sol Ruka is pretty amazing and exciting to watch, but she can sometimes be a little overzealous. Like, sometimes maybe overshoot some things and it doesn't always land or connect. And I do feel that way when I watch her sometimes, and I kind of did this match. And even though the Soul Snatcher connected, I've changed my tune on that. I don't like that move. I think no matter if she hits it, I think it just looks dumb, because the person just has to just stand there and take it. And I'm like, even when you connect with it now, I think I'm ruined by seeing people just waiting and fucking it up and whatnot. But I don't know. I was maybe a little let down on this simply because I was expecting a little bit more. Is that fair to say? I didn't love this.
This was the weakest match on the show, in my opinion. Which I thought Rhea versus Jade blew this out the water. And I'm surprised, because I think Becky had that great run of, her NXT run and stuff, of really enhancing some of these younger, greener talents. Like, she had fantastic match with Tiffany Stratton, great series of matches with Lyra, and Sol. This makes sense. Sol Ruka comes up from NXT, Becky Lynch, stalwart there. Like, this should be good. And I found I really like Becky as a heel. I think this past year, like what you're saying about, she's stepped too much into being too over the top with stuff and almost a bit comedic with it, which I don't think has been working. And Sol cannot hang on the mic. Like, this was something that's something she needed to work on in NXT. I've never thought she's good on the mic. And as exciting as her in-ring can be, you need a bit of like, yeah, like she's a cool, like down to earth surfer chick, a little bit of a hippie, but that doesn't, we've seen it in the past. It doesn't translate to a good character. I need to know that the wrestlers care about winning their matches, that when someone pisses them off, they're going to get angry and they're going to want to punch them in the face. Not, yeah, whatever, bro, you know? And I get too much of that, yeah, whatever, from Soul in her promos. And then added to that, a couple of like bad looking Soul snatchers in the build. And, but I also think like, and I really rate Becky Lynch's wrestling, but I feel she's missed a step recently.
This whole year.
We've had a few matches. We've had a few matches recently, and yes, she's been against, you know, Nikki Bella and AJ Lee, who have been out of the ring for a long time, and Soul, who's green. But there have been a few of these times where it's been her that's been out of position for some of these moves. Like was it Nikki or Brie? There was a move that everyone was roasting Nikki for, but you watch it back and it's Becky is nowhere near where she should be to take that move. I saw that with AJ, and then I'm seeing it here. And when you mix that in with, I think, maybe a bit of nerves from Soul since the promotion to the main roster, you had a lot of these really awkward, ugly moments. And yeah, this really disappointed me. And I don't think Sol Ruka's main roster run is off to a good start.
Yeah, I know. I kind of agree. I think Becky this year is just something's been off. Like, I would love for her to be back the way that I loved Becky. The man, think of all the good stuff she has done. I just think I didn't like the AJ Lee matches. Like, both didn't really, I wouldn't rate. She's just hanging out with Seth too much. It's just losing their luster a little bit.
It's been since the that Lyra Street fight, you know, where that all just fell apart.
Yeah.
It just, and that SummerSlam last year, I just don't feel she's really found her mojo in the ring. And Becky's had some of my favorite women's matches of all time. Like, she's fantastic, and I don't know what's missing. And maybe it's her trying to work heel doesn't work as well. But I say that, and then she had that awesome match with Bianca at WrestleMania a few years ago and stuff. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe is it this Trump character? Like,
I don't know if it's the character or just
wrestling. I don't know.
Trying to wrestle as a heel, or maybe she just needs more experienced people in the ring to like really gel with, and her trying to pick up some of these greener talents. It's exposing her. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but it's a shame.
I don't know either. Yeah. I think she's one of the best ever, and I just feel like this year hasn't been necessarily her year. I haven't loved this year of Becky Lynch, and I was a little disappointed with this match too.
And then we get the main event: Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu, tribal combat for the World Heavyweight Championship.
So really, if you ordered this pay-per-view, you're really only paying for what, 2 matches? I think
something like that. Yeah,
3 matches. That's crazy. VPNs are your friends, Americans. Wow. Yeah. That's absolutely crazy. You had to pay money to watch Sol Ruka and Becky Lynch and Roman and Jacob Fatu. Are you crazy? That's nuts. I just clocking that in, like, wow, okay, that's the technically the pay-per-view right there is what you're paying for.
No, but remember, the assumption is all wrestling fans love sport. So it's actually saving you money because you get to watch all of the sport that's on ESPN.
Wow.
Whereas I feel most wrestling fans would be like, can you just give me a bunch of comic book Marvel shit and my wrestling and I'll be happy?
Yeah, throughout the years, WWE underestimate that theater kids watch wrestling too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Like, not just sports people. Yeah. Like, autistic, nerdy kids, not just sports fans. We love wrestling, and maybe they're missing the boat there. I would no
I don't
way
want to see a guy throw a ball around for real. I want to see a guy fake punch someone in the face.
Yeah, no, theater. That's what this is. Art. Wrestling is art. I can't believe that. There's no chance I would pay this ESPN thing. I just think it's ridiculous. But I I wasn't too excited going into this feud. I haven't been loving it. Anything related to Bloodline is just like go away heat for me. So I think they could go out here and put on the best match I've ever seen, and I still wouldn't care, unfortunately. So I tried my best to really get into this. There were some cool spots in it. Shout out the giant steel steps spot to the throwback to Umaga and John Cena in that, like throwing the steps where Fatu eats it. That was pretty cool. The crowd were really into both characters. They're really into Roman Reigns specifically. I'm happy for them. This was just exactly what I knew this would be. This was like a Raw match at best. This whole show kind of felt like that. But yeah, I think the crowd are really into it, but it was pretty paint by numbers for me.
I don't think you watched Raw. Like, these were better than Raw matches, and that's not praising this show, but
right,
yeah. But this is better than Raw.
I think whenever, like the last time Roman wrestled on Raw, was it not versus Jacob Fatu on the Netflix debut?
It was against Solo.
Yeah. Sorry, it was against Solo, and it kind of felt like that. Just you added some weapons into this and table spots.
Yeah,
and like 100 Superman punches.
I kind of feel the same way with Jacob here as I did about Gunther earlier, where it's great seeing him in this position, but sometimes take Umaga, like, had that incredible feud with Cena, had those incredible matches, and then that was really it for his, like, okay, well, he's got the Trump match after that, I guess, but
what, Umaga?
yeah. But his career kind of, like, after he didn't win that title, he stepped down into the mid card.
Well,
right? He was never in that main event.
I blame. I ultimately blame the Jackass guys for no selling.
Yep.
And then what? Ultimately, it was the Chris Benoit stuff that made the Jackass guys pull out of the SummerSlam match. That could have been a big. Umaga did the Trump match, but then he could have possibly done the Jackass match, which didn't happen. But best match ever, Umaga, which I think people would say it's the John Cena match, which is awesome. We have covered it on the Champ is Here, but yeah.
But you know what I mean, right? Like it's he went for the title, he lost it, and I sometimes think a character like this, and I think there's a few of them, like Oba and Gunther as well. They kind of gotta win it or don't do the feud, and I think especially, like, I watched this just a couple of hours after watching Mask versus Mask, and we'll get to talking about that, but it's the same company, and it's under the same WWE umbrella, and it's night and day. Like, this is tribal combat. They're trying to sell us how violent, and this is like a last resort match, and you can't back out of tribal combat and all that. A couple of cool spots, but it was still a WWE plunder match. It's steel steps. It's steel chairs. It's a guardrail spot. It's a announce table spot, and I like Jacob Fatu a lot, and there were reports that he was banged up going into this match, and that maybe the match wasn't going to go ahead. So I thought if that is the case, he still looked great out there, and I love his character. I love his delivery. I love his presence. There's a lot I really like about this guy, and I have enjoyed watching this. I mean, he's a baby face right now, but he definitely is coming across heelish Roman, especially this new bloodline stuff he's doing, brought back the low blow in this match. And but I do think he's working now as a baby face with a lot more pace and fire than he did when he was a heel, who was a lot more of the stoic walking around, a lot of talking. Like, there was some talking in this, but I think that's why I enjoyed the Punk match. And I've enjoyed these two Fatu matches more than a lot of the matches he had in his epic long title reign. But it's still, as you say, it still feels WWE. It still feels sanitized. It still feels relatively safe. Nothing really like changing the wheel at all with it. And it's just fascinating to me when I just saw Ludwig Kaiser and Chad Gable have an incredible match with essentially the same stipulation the night before.
Yeah, I don't know. I've said in the past while, especially the last year, that like the more I I tuned in today, watched this show, and it gives me the feeling I know it's gonna give me. Like, I knew going in this would just be a WWE PLE, and that's just what they are lately. Look at the track record since joining ESPN. They're boring. These I compared it to Raw. It feels like Raw, and I fucking hate watching Raw. It feels like that. It feels like these. It's not pro wrestling. It's for these WWE fans and these casuals, and we want tables and kendo stick plunder is exactly, and Brock Lesnar match is exactly what these fans want and they get. So yeah, AAA they own, but the night before it's such a different product that it does feel night and day when you watch that. That feels more honoring what, wrestling fans really like and get into. And it's crazy that it's the same weekend and more people are going to be praising that match over anything that happened right today on this WWE Italy show. And I feel the same way when I watch WWE. There's just something. They're since the TKO, are they like coasting on we're making the most money possible, so why do anything different? Why should we put more substance into this when like the machine is doing just fine? Merch sales, we have combos and deals with all these different companies doing merch and sponsorships. Look at the ring said Scary Movie. This had to be the biggest sponsorship in the middle of the ring. Look, I'm excited about Scary Movie next week. I think it might suck, but I'm excited. But still, it's like they're making the most money right now, so why should they give a fuck if the product is good? Basically, is what I think their MO is right now. And I don't know. It's WWE. It doesn't feel. It hasn't felt. It gives me the ick. And today's show just did this. It didn't do anything I could have not watched this and felt better.
I feel
I don't know.
also they produce so much content where they don't want to burn through stuff. So Triple H has this very slow, long-term story building for stuff, which I think for your big stories is needed. I think you want some like long, overarching stories, and then you have your little side quests that your characters are going on. But when you've got almost 6 hours of main roster TV and then a PLE once a month, sometimes it's once every 3 weeks, I get that they don't want to burn through their matches, but the difference is Tony Khan isn't afraid of putting non-stars out there, right? So he's not afraid of putting an Ace Austin against a Will Ospreay or Okada to fill some TV time, and it's going to be a great match, right? So it's going to be a really good match. No one's really tuning in to watch Ace Austin, but he's got such a deep roster of talented wrestlers where he can fill his TV time pretty easily without burning through matches. And some of those times when he does do, we're not doing Swerve versus Kenny on a pay-per-view, we're doing it next week. And you're like, what? But then he gives it to you in a way that you are excited to see it again at the pay-per-view. And I think, as you said, WWE fans are there not necessarily for the wrestling. They're there to yeet. They're there to sing the songs. So
yep.
They're there. You're going and you want to, I want to sing Cody Rhodes' theme. I want to sing Randy Orton's theme. I want to yeet. I want to see Mami. And then I want to see Danhausen. And if I get all 5 of those things, I've enjoyed my show. And therefore, they always have to put the stars out there. Whereas I think an AEW will be like, here's 2 wrestlers who are very much in the undercard. Well, that's why here,
no one's going to their weekly shows. So,
yeah, I mean, exactly. That's the thing, right? That's the thing. We've been for the fans that like it. It serves them, and I respect Tony Khan for serving those fans, the sickos, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
But is there a balance? Is there a way you can serve both things? Because think when the Attitude Era, when wrestling was at its previous peak, they weren't producing anywhere near as much content as this. But also, top to bottom, a lot of their roster way more of their roster was over. So you could throw out Godfather and Val Venus and people would lose their mind. So
I don't know, maybe people also thought it was real.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought this was a forgettable WWE PLE but that is an evergreen sentence in 2026. Like, I don't think since this ESPN deal, everything. Okay, Mania Night 2, Backlash was okay, but Mania Night 2 may be the one standout show, which out of 2 nights of WrestleMania, you would assume you'd get something good. And I think that's the running, like, WWE show of the year still, right? Like, we got that epic main event. That was good stuff. But honestly, like, these PLEs are so missable and skippable. I feel like they just feel boring. And I'm seeing the even the people and our friends and people in the wrestling online, just even the hardcore WWE defenders are like, man, this is boring. This is getting to a limit. Like, they're pretty forgettable, these things. They're not must watch. So I felt that coming off of this pay-per-view. Like, I just watched it, and it's already, I'm like, I will never go back to watch anything back from this show. I will not even think about this show again. So but they're going to continue doing these kinds of shows, and it looked like it's sold out. It looked like it did well. So, like, why wouldn't they continue giving you dribble? Because we're going to drink it all up.
It's funny. Like, I find, the show they gave us today yes, I'd have liked to have been outside. Put that aside. It's a beautiful day out there. But put that aside, sitting down, watching this on a 40-minute delay with my lunch, whizzing through 5 matches, I found it perfectly enjoyable. Sitting down and spending $30 on my ESPN Plus subscription at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, let's say, to watch this, I'd be disappointed. Does that make sense? Like, as I said, I was having my lunch. I was doing a bit of cleaning. I was watching the show. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't, as you said, never going to think about it again. So in that context, I like these afternoon shows, and I think this kind of stuff they're giving is a fine Sunday afternoon show. But that's not what we want. And especially when we just came off of Double or Nothing, which was awesome. And I'll give credit again. I did think some of them stepped it up a bit. I thought I'd probably say Jade and Rhea was my match of the night, to be honest. I thought they stepped it up, and there was a level of intensity that we don't often see in WWE, and it's cool. Like, just the visual of these 2 huge women throwing bombs at each other was cool, but there wasn't any, like, I think a Sammy involvement in that Gunther Cody match would have at least sparked a bit of interest. It was something newsworthy coming out of it. What's newsworthy coming out this show? Like, Sol Ruka won the Intercontinental Champ. Sol Ruka won the mid-card women's title. Cool. What else? I guess Brock beat
Oba, but, like, still, like,
we kind of all saw that coming. Like, it's nothing else really.
I'll just, like, we cover this and we talk about it, and that's what we do for a living. But, like, when I watch this, it's just nothing for me, and I'm just being honest. I have no dog in any fight. We're about to talk about another WWE owned product that I will rave about in a second. But what I just watched today is, like, it's not for me. It's boring, same old stuff that they shovel out, and I get that they have their audience and their fans and whatnot, but yeah, that's all I have to say about the Clash in Italy. But let's turn our attention. Let's go from one country to another. Let's go to Mexico for AAA Noche de los Grandes, week 1. As we go
Where were we? Monterrey?
Monterrey in Mexico. Very nice.
Go there.
In Monterrey?
Yeah.
Well, hey, you want to go see some Mexican wrestling? They've announced the Triple Mania show, and they've now announced this. The other show, of course, is in Las Vegas, but the one in Mexico kind of ties in around, they've announced, a Raw or a SmackDown down in Mexico as well. So as a wrestling fan, you could potentially go to a Triple Mania, potentially in the same weekend go to a CMLL Arena Mexico show, and then potentially a SmackDown or a Raw or whatever else that they're doing. So tons of wrestling going down in Mexico, but we start with this show, Noche de los Grandes. I mean, this was a match that I think was the most well-promoted match in a long time for WWE, and it wasn't even on...
I don't know if you've been able to tell. Sorry, I don't know if you've been able to tell from this podcast, but I've been excited about this match for a while, so much that I've thought it's been like every Saturday night for the last month was this match.
You kept telling me it's this weekend, and I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, cool. And then it actually happened yesterday. I mean, this feud has been going on, and I think whether not everyone watches like the weekly AAA, or if you keep up on like social media or whatnot, and I think majority of fans like do tune in or check like some of the clips that WWE or AAA have been posting for this match. But it's just been so interesting because you have both these guys who are not Mexican doing a Mexican gimmick wearing the lucha mask, who've been feuding. But if you watch WWE weekly TV like Raw, you would assume that one guy's the bad guy and one guy's the good guy. But if you watch AAA, it's the other way around. So this, with the hype of WrestleMania, I think a lot of us, at least me, was like, this has got to be one of the big matches for WrestleMania. And it wasn't. And now in hindsight, I'm so thankful and happy that it wasn't, because we wouldn't have got this here today. But did you watch the whole show? It was a pretty quick show, only a few matches.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's maybe start at the top, but
sure.
I'll say right away, like I've checked out like clips of AAA, mainly these El Grande Americano angles they've had going on, but I haven't really watched any of the... John Pollock's been raving about the weekly show, but I haven't checked out any of this just because I watch a lot. And also we've had the AAA stuff on NXT and it's been fine. I'm a fan now. Like I'm going to watch this product. I'm going to watch part 2 of this show next week because I thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought just the production, this arena, the crowd, some of the characters, like I had so much fun, and this felt fresh to me, where, you know, I think wrestling, like I certainly go through cycles of like, you know, I'm, you know, build to WrestleMania 40. I'm really into WWE right now. And then AEW, not so much, or there's been my New Japan moments, or there's been styles of wrestling I've really enjoyed, like the strong style. And then that I kind of felt, oh, we're doing a lot of this. I want something new. I want something fresh. And this felt really fresh to me, this show. And I thoroughly enjoyed this whole thing, top to bottom.
So we had Rey Fenix. They let him out of prison? They let him out of his straitjacket to wrestle in Mexico, I guess. Good for him. Rey Fenix leaving prison for one night to wrestle Laredo Kid for the AAA Cruiserweight title. And Rey Fenix, we got a title change here, defeats Laredo Kid, who is doing this heel gimmick here. He's a bad Laredo Kid. But Rey Fenix getting the win with there was some crazy stuff in this match with some very high-paced lucha stuff.
Right from the bell ringing, Phoenix like charging at him, drilling him with elbows, sending him in the corner, doing that little spin kick to the face he does, followed by the Adios Amigo. Like the opening was just awesome in itself.
Well, the finish finally was the Mexican muscle buster, but he did it with some salsa verde on that because it looked awesome. He crushed him.
He hit 2 of these, right?
Yeah.
And you had the spot earlier, and I thought they did. I thought they did a great job on this show for new fans, people tuning in for the first time. Corey Graves is excellent. JBL was fine. Rey Mysterio shouldn't be in a commentary booth.
Man.
Oh my god.
I love Rey Mysterio, but he should not be doing that.
God.
I thought him and JBL were not good together. Like Corey Graves, bless him, he had to get on a flight and be in Italy for that show today. But
yeah,
Rey Mysterio, there was so much weird silence, so much talking over each other during this show as well. But I actually did try to. Now I'm sure it was just because I was watching this in Canada. It's on the WWE YouTube for free, but it didn't give me the option to change it to Spanish, so I was stuck with Rey Mysterio and JBL ball game, and then just silence for a lot of it, and then they talk.
Corey was fantastic in filling everything in, and you know, showing the angles leading up to this match, and they were bringing up. You know, we talked about that Rey Fenix being disgruntled again, and they brought that up on the commentary about how he's happy for his brother, but he wants his moment, he wants his championship and his time as well. And I'm glad they filled in all the gaps, because then you had that great moment with the low blow where Phoenix scouted it and caught the arm before he could get punched in the dick. And yeah, just like super fast action. They built these near falls so well. Like there were like 3 or 4 times where I thought the match was done. And as you said, that the extra stink on that final muscle buster with a few extra rotations was great. But what a way to open this show. Like we've seen Laredo Kid like quite a few times over the years, and then kind of forget about him because, you know, he did like a little brief appearances in AEW, didn't he? And then he was in TNA for a little bit, and then appeared on NXT once and kind of disappears. But this reminded you how good he was. And I thought he played the heel in this match really well. I thought Phoenix played the babyface really well. Like it's been a while since we've watched him wrestle a match of this caliber, you know, and I thought he played just dead so well at times. The way he can make his body so limp. So some of his last second kickouts looked awesome. Yeah, this was so much fun to watch.
This cleared anything from Clash in Italy today by a long while, and this wasn't even the best on this show, but it was probably the second best on this show. I did like this match a lot. I love Rey Fenix. I know I'm joking about him being locked up because it's his own words, really. It's unfortunate. I guess he's back in jail right now. They probably had to give him this title and go, okay, back, put the straight jacket back on. No, it's what you said you are in jail. You said you're in prison, man. I sometimes think Rey Fenix tweets more than he wrestles sometimes, but maybe it was great seeing him wrestle, and he should be wrestling more because this guy's an incredible talent.
Like I was thinking, it's, you know, you work all these years to finally get to the big stage of WWE, and then you're back. The company buys AAA and they put you right back there.
It's like, fuck.
But I will say, as on the flip side, it must feel nice after wrestling to crickets on SmackDown to being like feeling huge once again in front of that crowd. Because that crowd were awesome, top to bottom.
So we went from that match, which was great, to the AAA Latin American Championship. We have the champion El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. versus El Hijo del Vikingo. This had all these different run-ins in this match, and I got to shout out. So I've been watching the clips now. I don't watch AAA week to week, but I do check out social media stuff, and Mini Vikingo has been something I've been watching, and a bunch of us and our friends have been sharing clips, because the first time I saw Mini Vikingo was it last week, hit that crazy move on Vikingo. Everyone kept sending me that video of like, what the hell is this? So when he showed up in this match, I lost my mind. It's hilarious that Vikingo himself is not the biggest superstar or wrestler. He's pretty short. We've met him. He's insanely short. He's incredible, but he's short. Now you have a guy who's even smaller than him, who's the mini version. So like they're keeping tradition alive in AAA with having mini versions of wrestlers not only interact with them, but feud with them as well. So Mini Vikingo and Vikingo are beefing. And that was a big pop for me during this match when he ran out. Was it like a flying Rana or spike Poisonrana or something?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? That was pretty crazy. Ridiculous. But
something about Omos with Vikingo works as well. Just visually looks awesome. Yeah, I've heard Vikingo's been playing the heel and about this little act. But watching the clips and watching this was something where I went, oh, okay. We have like proper stories on this show. It's not just like throwing lucha matches out there. We've got some proper stuff going on, and it did make me interested. And you know, Dr. Wagner Jr., El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. Is someone we've seen in NXT a few times, and he even had a SmackDown match, which again had crickets to it. But the match with Ethan Page, I remember really standing out. But here, I thought both worked really well. I thought this was a fun match. I don't think this touched the opening match, and I don't think Vikingo is really touching where he used to be, and maybe that's just the style he's been working and his body not being what it used to be. But I still had a lot of fun with this, with all the run-ins and that. I thought,
it was silly. Yeah, like Omos having a place here, like all the little run-ins it was fine. We went from that.
And
So Vikingo won.
Change.
Yeah, Vikingo won. A lot of title changes on this show. So Vikingo is now the.
So are we building to? Will it be him versus Mini Vikingo? And will Mini Vikingo take this title from him?
I would assume so. That's got to be the next match, is the one-on-one. I think they did do the match because, again, I did see some clips, but I would imagine the next big match between them, you got to continue. Mini Vikingo. Only in AAA do you get that. Hilarious. We went to the next match, the AAA tag team titles. Pagano and Psycho Clown defending against the War Raiders. And we got another title change on this show. 3 title changes in a row with the War Raiders. War Machine, fuck it. I used to love these guys. And a finish I haven't seen in a while is their finish, which is what? The pop-up into the Power Slam combo? I always love this move. So you know what? Shout out these guys getting the win. Sorry, Pagano and Psycho Clown, but you'll win the belts back.
Did you think of their entrance like Lucha Vikings mask they had going on?
Yeah, there's a lot of Viking stuff going on. Vikingo should just team with them, really. With Mini Vikingo, you have this whole stable of small to big, essentially, of the Pokemon Viking evolution, if you were to put them together. But this was cool, seeing these guys. It didn't go that long. Pagano and Psycho Clown are just probably so thankful they're here in WWE. I feel like anytime we've watched these things, I haven't necessarily loved them. We have watched them a lot before this WWE stuff, just because we have watched and reviewed AAA in the past and Lucha stuff and whatnot. But they've never been 2 of my favorite characters to watch. But yeah, I think you're muted.
We mentioned Ray, but Ray had one of the worst calls in this match.
Okay, what did he say?
He doesn't have any energy in his voice when he's on commentary. He sounds so subdued.
Yeah.
And he's just like, hey, I've been kind of out of the loop with these guys, but they're Vikings, right? And then Corey's like taken aback, like, what did you just ask me? He's like, oh, yes, they're, formerly the Viking Raiders, but these are the War Raiders. And Ray's like, yeah, but do they still do Viking things? And Viking he like asks another question, and Corey and JBL are just silent, like what, like just kind of why are you admitting that you've shared a locker room with these guys for I don't know how long, and just has no clue what's going on, what they're doing, what their gimmick is. He's just like, we're essentially saying these guys haven't been on TV for a long time. Are they still Vikings? I don't know. I stopped watching the show about 3 years ago. What's the deal? And just it seemed like Corey and JBL were flabbergasted that he even said this live on TV. And eventually there's this pause and they just move on about completely other stuff. But
he's like, hey, JBL, Corey, this Psycho Clown, is he still a clown? Is he still doing clown stuff? Psycho Clown.
And then they made a real point in this match multiple times. Remember when we're going to go and play some pool after this today, and we played these guys the other week, and we're not very good at pool, but we somehow took it to these guys till the last ball. We were both on black, and one of the guys repeatedly kept on reminding us, this is probably the worst game of pool I've ever played in my life. Like, oh yeah, no, it's fun. Yeah, like this is a really bad game of pool. Cool, thanks, man. Yeah, this is probably the worst game of pool. Yeah, we've got the message that you're not enjoying this game. How many times in this match, right before the bell goes, hey, don't expect any lucha flying stuff. This one's going to be bowling shoe ugly. Yeah, well, we told you this match wasn't going to be pretty, guys. This is about as ugly as it gets. JBL being like, yeah, this isn't your lucha flying around. These are just two teams fighting each other. It's messy, it's ugly, but it's fun. And they just kept on reminding us, like,
they're like,
this is shit, but it's good. It's fun.
Yeah, this Pagano and Psycho Clown, every time they wrestle, their matches are pretty shit, but they're really gonna bring it.
Somebody a punch in the face. And
don't expect a good match here.
Exactly. I know what they mean because there is that like it is what's entertaining about Pagano and Psycho Clown. It is the ugliness. It is just what the fuck are they gonna do? And War Raiders are great at that because they're brutes as well and giving it to them. But it was just like we got the message. Don't worry, I'm not expecting Okada Omega right here. I just like chill a little with telling us how ugly this is going to be. But yeah,
this is going to be the worst match you've ever seen in your life. right here tonight.
And then, but then we had the post match with War Raiders, who I didn't know going into the match that they were heels, but certainly after deciding to attack Psycho Clown after Pagano and Psycho Clown had a bit of a back and forth, like, Pagano was frustrated at the loss and all that, and shoving each other a little bit before Pagano walked out. And then War Raiders took out Psycho Clown, and Pagano looked back, saw it happen, and just walked away.
Ah, man. Yeah, so far, the whole show leading up to it, like, there's a little bit of everything. You do have, like, your tag team or brawlers with Pagano. Now, I do know about them. I wasn't expecting Lucha stuff, so don't worry, JBL. But everything up to this was, like, fine. And honestly, already better than Clash. It felt refreshing. But the crowd definitely were a big part of the show and definitely helped going into it. But these three matches were really quick because then we got into, like, a lot of video packages for the main event, a lot of hype, and a lot of time given to the real match and the main event that everyone was waiting for. Mask v Mask. Grande v Grande. A night of greats.
Sorry, I just wanted to, like, talk about that angle, though, at the end.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Because it's... do you see Pagano teaming up with the War Raiders now? Like, I felt that's where they were going, and then they kind of just went their separate ways.
You seem really worried about what's going to happen with Pagano.
I mean, man, this whole show is more interesting than Clash in Italy. Let me talk about it. Let me dissect it. That's what we're here to do.
Fuck a Brock Lesnar and a Jacob Fatu. What's going on with Pagano, man?
Why does Pagano not like Psycho Clown anymore? Is he now going to be a Viking? That's what I need to know. No. All right.
Oh no. Yeah, I guess it's over. I'm just quickly looking at the AAA shop on WWEshop.com and to see if I can get you a Pagano shirt. But they have Psycho Clown shirts, but not Pagano. So if I'm Pagano, I'd be a little worried. A little bit. They have the iguana for sale, actually, as well. They got a lot of stuff. You know, the one shirt they did, because I'm watching this for free on the YouTube, the like luchador shirt where it's like all these different masks on the shirt. That looks like a really cool shirt when it comes to WWE shop. Like, yeah, but unfortunately, Davey. Oh, they do have a Pagano shirt. All right, well, there's your birthday sorted. Pagano.
But is he with the War Raiders? I need to know.
The Pagano Raiders. The war.
I'll have to tune in next. You see, this is what I want to leave my wrestling shows looking forward to the next episode, questioning all week what's happening next, what's going to happen. You know, that's what it's all about.
I just sent you in Messenger the latest Pagano shirt. Right, WWE shop that you can put up on the show. It's like it's got a skull busting out of a like a Jack in the Box kind of thing. I'm just gonna assume they used AI to make this because it's
this is cool. Look at this. Oh, Jack in the Box, the skull. Yeah.
Patreon.com/Poisonrana if you want to help me invest in a Pagano shirt for Davey.
It's $34.99 US.
It's like $60 Canadian.
I'll get some. I'll get a knockoff one when I'm back in when I'm back in Mexico.
Hey, but you know what? I am happy. Like, okay, I don't know how much wrestlers make off WWE Shop, and I heard maybe not the best, but still, it's WWE Shop, so there's a lot of people, I'm sure, buying stuff. Now, I'm not saying people are rushing to buy Pagano's t-shirt on WWE Shop, but we have watched a lot of these guys, a lot of these wrestlers work and hustle for years, and finally to get merch, like, I wish there was more. There should be multiple Pagano shirts.
We got Psycho Clown on Botchamania, you know?
That's right, you did, yeah. And now he's not teaming with Pagano anymore, and you're sad.
Oh, no.
Isn't that crazy that legit you are more invested in what's going on with Pagano and Psycho Clan than we just watched the WWE pay-per-view? And you don't give a fuck. You're like worried.
I've already forgotten what happened. I've talked about it. It's gone.
Genuinely worried if they're together anymore. So let us know, is Pagano with the Viking Raiders? More to come. Yeah. Keep you updated.
There we go.
Is the show next week? It's probably next week.
There is part 2 next week.
We gotta tune in.
With Bailey, La Catalina, and Lola Vice taking on Las Toxicas of Flamer, La Hiedra, and Maravilla. And then Cruz del Toro versus Joaquin Wilde versus Lince Dorado versus Mini Vikingo versus Octagon Jr.
Did they tape this? I think there was an injury that came out of that match. If
really?
I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think they taped it.
Interesting.
I could be wrong. Well, we go from... I know you're still worried and want to talk about Pagano. But let's talk about the main event of this show. Mask v. Mask. Grande v. Grande. There can only be one great American. We have great video package. I loved the hype up videos that they filmed or aired on social media like the last few days. And then specifically, what is it? The new Grande where he's in the crowd with the hat and all these people, and he like lifts his head up and then he starts to walk. Like epic shit here. Amazing.
Man, this video, we saw the new El Grande throughout the night, but looking awesome in his jacket, in the hat. This is just the most like, and then his entrance was awesome. Like everyone singing along, him coming out and just looking incredible and soaking in this crowd. He does his weird, almost Orange Cassidy like fist bumps as he's walking down.
Yeah,
but the noise like in this arena for this guy was incredible. And it's just, again, like, to put this into perspective, this was an American Olympic USA wrestler who was losing against luchadors, so went off to learn the ways of the lucha, came back and impersonated a luchador and called himself an El Grande Americano, was somewhat offensive. He gets injured, and a German bloke takes up, a German pretends to be an American, pretending to be a luchador, and somehow gets embraced by Mexico. You then have in the news a week ago or so about, and you know, it's been disputed, but someone threatening ice on his girlfriend. So him beating the shit out of this guy and getting arrested for it, which only makes him an even bigger hero to this crowd. And you're watching, like, they're hyping this up as the biggest AAA main event of all time. And I think I'm sure there's some like purists out there who find this kind of offensive, that it's the biggest AAA event of all time and it's a German and American pretending to be luchadors. But then you see this crowd and they are eating this all up and it feels huge, it feels massive. And I somehow think they've managed to, like, I'm not Mexican and I shouldn't really be saying whether it is or isn't offensive, but I feel they've built it in a way that isn't and has been embraced. And I don't know, I found it so cool to see, where we've always liked Ludwig Kaiser. Like, we've seen him for years. I saw him as like Axel Dieter Jr. before coming to WWE.
Marcel
Bartel. And I think we always thought he was fantastic, but there was a ceiling. And his ceiling was probably the tag team with Fabian Eichner. And to see him break out in something completely different that you'd never imagine him doing, and being so loved and adored by this crowd was incredible. Like, I was getting goosebumps watching this entrance for this guy. I just thought this whole thing felt huge going into this main event.
No, I've been loving the story. Again, I think one of the only good stories WWE has been doing, and it's not been on like Raw or SmackDown. A lot of it has been on this AAA. The story has been way more interesting. Again, social media, I would say, they're, even if you don't watch AAA, you're seeing the clips that WWE has been posting on Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is that you use. And I think they built it up so good and organically that, yeah, I think when this started, think back when Chad started the Grande character, Grande, there were people who were like, oh, hey, is this offensive? Like, whoa, are they supposed to do that? And then he was using AI in his videos, and then it's like, oh, well, he's a heel, so he is. And then he was using AI again to speak Spanish in his videos, but again, he's the heel. So it's like, okay, so you are blurring the lines there a little bit, but it's just taken it's just become like this beast of its own where the Mexican crowds of these shows and tapings have just taken to this guy. And then behind the scenes, like, okay, if you know who he is behind the mask, and he's been in a relationship with one of the announcers, like the interviewers.
So, yeah.
Like, he seems like he's really embraced the culture, and the culture in return has really embraced him. So yeah, I don't think it is up to me or you to be like, hey, this is, offensive, or hey, they like. I watched this today. I'm like, this guy seems like one of the biggest stars in Mexico. This guy seems like one of the biggest stars in the world coming out here at this show. So whether, the story about him in the last few weeks with him being arrested and being bailed out and stuff, whether if there is truth or merit to that only adds more fuel to this fire of people showing him love. Again, the culture down there. So, I think as a fan, we have watched Triple Mania in the past, and we've watched Vampiro call for his music, and we've seen all this stuff in the past. We've done tons of podcasts covering some old Triple Manias as well. But WWE buying them, it was almost like, is this going to be bad for the culture? Is this going to be bad for it? And I think I was maybe one of those people who I still am like, hey, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? And watching this, I'm like, I think it's a good thing, because look at these people like loving this, like going crazy. I'm seeing videos, because this was yesterday and I watched this morning. I'm seeing videos from today and last night where people after this match were in the streets partying and singing and going nuts for this guy. And that's how like wrestling should feel, right? Like, if this babyface is so over that it's connecting on an emotional level with fans, then like, fuck yeah, we better ride with it. This feels like one of the most hyped up matches, organically built, well built matches that like they did such a good job. Even watching the videos here today, and I'm sure that they used AI and stuff in it, it felt epic. They used the comic book style story to tell you everything. It did feel respectful to the culture. And again, it's two white dudes who are not even Mexican here wrestling for a gimmick that seems to mean a lot for these people. So
white dudes. I mean, have you seen Chad Gable's skin recently?
Yeah, yeah, looking like Hulk Hogan a little bit, looking red leather there. Yeah. But this was almost perfect, if you could, when it came to the matchup, and then the match happened. The atmosphere, the crowd, everything in it. These two put on a classic here tonight. They went to war in this mask versus mask. Dare I say, one of the best matches of the year instantly watching this match here. Like, you had the great intro from the both of them. Like, everything felt big. Everything felt special. It had good wrestling. It had violence. It had emotion. Had the crowd in the palm of their hands. Loved this.
Yeah, I was excited for this match. I thought it was going to be good, because these are both two really good wrestlers. I was still expecting at the end of the day to get a WWE match between these two, and maybe some big spots, like a big suplex off the top from Chad or something. But I wasn't expecting the level of violence we got here, and which I think was something we've been used to when we've been watching these Triple Manias in the past that are often headlined for a hair versus hair or mask versus hair or something like that. It's always like super bloody, right? It's a super bloody, violent thing. Even Hugo Savinovich takes a guitar to the head for no reason and stuff like that. But because it's a WWE product, I wasn't expecting to get the blood here. And I always think the blood under the mask with like the ripped mask always is such a striking visual. But doing that and then, you know, not doing the regular violent tropes that we see in WWE, you know, kendo sticks and steel chairs. We were getting a bull rope whippings and lashings and chokings and all that. And I just thought it looked like nothing we see in WWE these days.
It feels like a completely different company, and it is, but they're owned by WWE.
Feel like I was watching Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser either. I was watching the two El Grande Americanos go at it, and the crowd just being so rabid and electric throughout was this. This is definitely going to be in my shortlist at the end of the year because I'm going to remember this match, and I think that's something when we're putting together our lists, and if I'm trying to remember, like, oh yeah, no, that was really good. Maybe it should be in the list because it's not in my brain enough. But this one will stick with me. It felt so special.
It felt so special. These two really brought it. Like the people have really connected with this storyline, and it's been awesome to see. But then the match itself, the crowd being so invested into this. You had some real violent stuff. That air raid crash through the table. You had a back suplex off the top where I thought he hurt him at one point. You had all the Bruno, Julio, all the Bruno, Julio, Enrique, whoever came out here in this thing where you saw
the dive from
Tyler
Bravo.
Bruno,
Tyler Bate.
Bravo.
Yep.
Sorry, that was crazy. There's so many things. What the spot that I love was the comedian, Jojito, the blind comedian. They even had him get involved, and like I've not been super caught up on what's happening, but again, Corey Graves was great filling in the blanks with the video package beforehand where it showed and stuff. I was getting emotional for this guy. I was like, yo, you're not picking on this blind dude. And then he got his licks in, and then he was cheering, and the whole crowd were roaring for this guy, and you could see this huge smile on this face of this guy as he was like almost teary-eyed as he helped the good guy Grande here. So I thought that was great. It was just a sweet moment. Pimpinella, who showed up with the guitar shot, that got a crazy reaction. We had all these kickouts and submissions and ankle locks, and then finally the running head. His girlfriend, right? His lover came out there to help as well. Like, it had everything. Like, this reminds you, like, WWE, if you actually tried, you could be doing this kind of storytelling on pay-per-views, but you don't. And somehow this offshoot company that you bought, AAA, have put on technically WWE's match of the year. Like, this cleared WrestleMania for me, this match. This cleared anything WWE's put out. Technically, this is a WWE product, so this is WWE's match of the year. I don't think they'll do anything this year that tops this. This has to be one of the best things they've done in years. Like, I cannot think of a WWE match that comes close to this in the last little while. Like, maybe some people might think AJ Cena. I'd say this clears that. Like, I'd say this is one of the better WWE produced.
I mean, the
this
only
reminds
one
me
I'd put would be Punk Roman, which I did really like. Like,
but
I'd
put that up against this. I don't know.
But this felt. I think both didn't feel like WWE matches. I think that's what I liked. I think both sort of broke the rules of what we expect of WWE matches in 2026, and that's why they really stood out. And I think both had told really good stories within the body of the match, whilst not being like, oh, I've got to talk to the camera and be like, you know, giving exposition explicitly. Like, it was a little bit more subtle, and I that's why I think both these matches have stood out for me.
Like, this one will be the one people definitely talk about in the matches of the year. Like, this was great. I thought it had like I said, it had some emotion, it had some violence, it had a little bit of everything, but both Chad Gable and Marcel Bartel, I'm gonna say his name. What's his actual name now?
Ludwig Kaiser.
Ludwig Kaiser, of course. How could I forget? I love a good Kaiser. They put on a classic here. Like, they put on the best work of their career, in my opinion. And I've loved some stuff from them before, but this was easily the best thing they've done. You could see they were so emotional afterwards here. But yeah, this reminded me of when you'd have the WWE pay-per-view on the Sunday, and you'd have the NXT takeover on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And the takeover would absolutely clear whatever the WWE pay-per-view was on that Sunday. And that is exactly what happened here. So this should be a great launching pad for fans to go, wait, are they doing this kind of stuff on a regular basis? Because I will totally watch more AAA if this is what we're getting. Now, okay, this was lightning in a bottle with Grande character v. Grande, but still, going forward, this should be a great, thing to bring these new people in and to have them announcing the 2 nights of Triple Mania and then these WWE shows going back to Mexico. That is a pretty big deal for WWE to go to Mexico. So, like, it looks like business is good. And coming off of this match, like, yeah, some of the best stuff, one of the best matches WWE's produced in a long, long time. And it gave me that vibe of, like, you watch the takeover and there's some good wrestling and it feels a little niche, but everyone's still invested in it. There might be less people in this crowd, but they're louder and actually care. And then I watched the WWE pay-per-view on the Sunday, and it's just boring, and I don't really seem to care, even though the crowd in Italy seemed to love it up. And that's how I felt watching this stuff. This was excellent wrestling. So good job to both of these guys. They put on a banger here tonight. You could see Chad Gable was so emotional with his family in the ring afterwards, taking the mask off and everything. Like, it felt like a really big deal.
Just looking, this match went 33 minutes as well, which feels way longer than it was. Currently a 9.57 on Cage Match, which is incredibly good. But
it's up there. Like
I think you and I, when it comes to matches, we often take into account the entrances and the post-match as well. And this post-match was awesome. You mentioned Chad Gable's family in the ring. I did find it funny when the mask finally came off and JBL goes, "It's Chad Gable."
Yeah.
Chad
my
Gable.
God, it's Chad Gable.
But I thought Gable, with his speech, put a nice bow at the end of this story, and managed to make it respectful at the end. It's like, I started doing this because I hated luchadors and I couldn't beat them, and then I became one, and in that I grew to love this culture and this style of wrestling and everything. And I thought just did a great way of baby facing himself moving forward, really getting that respect from the audience. His little boy in the ring in his mini Grande Americano leotard singlet thing he had on was pretty awesome.
Mini Grande?
Yeah, Mini Grande, but great speech from Gable here. As
Fine speech.
Passed the torch officially to the new El Grande Americano.
I thought that was special. He's like, hey, I'll always be the first, but you now are the only, because you've earned it. So gave him the mask, and I thought this was great. Like, this was something I'll remember from this year. And I don't even remember what I watched on Clash in Italy tonight, but this was very special. And going forward, you would imagine you continue the Grande character with Fabian here. Sorry, not Fabian Eichner. That's the other guy. He's in TNA now. I would
doing wrestling again.
Yeah, he's wrestling something. Make this guy, the biggest star in Mexico. You feature these big shows that are happening in a few months. Have him in a big main event. Now we need to build someone up to be the next big opponent for him, and I'm not sure who that would be, but they got something. Rey Mysterio and Undertaker, they're cooking down in Mexico. Booker of the Year, Undertaker. Did he book this match?
Yeah.
No, he probably got his wife to do it, right? But either way, she did a great job.
I've seen little rumblings that Undertaker's the figurehead of this, but it's
what?
Probably Jeremy Borash.
You're telling me Undertaker didn't book this match? What? You're crazy. Anyways, I love this. I love this
Maybe
match
I need to
so
ask
much.
Undertaker, what's going on with Pagano? And
Right, yeah, he'll get back to you on that. Love this match. This is definitely one of the better things WWE's produced in a long, long time, and it makes me be like, why can't you do this on your main shows? Why can't the wrestling be like this all the time? So great stuff. Will definitely be like, this comes to mind as one of the runners for match of the year. This, I know we were just at Okada versus Takeshita last week. That's something that comes to mind. Okada Tanahashi is still, I think, up there in the running, but this one with the WWE name on it, this is up there. Like, this will be talked about come the end of the year, 100%.
It's not going to be show of the year, but I'd put it up there as one of the most memorable shows of the year as well. One of the most enjoyable shows of the year for sure. I thoroughly enjoyed this. If
so
you
there you
haven't
go.
seen it, it is on YouTube. Just go and watch this because it was so enjoyable.
So there you go. We didn't really love the Clash, but the Night of Greats was pretty great down in Mexico. Again, like, I would consider, like, if they're doing the Triple Mania in Mexico, and if you're a big wrestling nerd like us, you can look, like, I think it's the Saturday or Sunday, and CMLL usually runs Mexico City the Friday nights and Saturdays, I think. So you could easily knock off a few bucket list things there by doing Arena Mexico CMLL and the Triple Mania plus like a Raw or SmackDown, or maybe WWE does some sort of pay-per-view of their own down there as well, or Worlds Collide or something. But they're clearly gunning for that market, right? Like, we've seen CMLL, and I think it's a little difficult for maybe or maybe expensive for people to watch in North America on a regular basis, but we've seen that has become a huge sellout, like, almost every week for the last year, plus like almost a tourist destination. I can't name like BTS or other artists or bands that go to the CMLL Arena Mexico shows. It's become like a big tourist thing, and that would be an awesome trip, and trying to do multiple ones would be pretty sweet. But I think this is a great leaping point. Like, I will try to watch more AAA. If they continue to put on shows like this, then hell yeah. Got to know what happens with Pagano.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there you go.
Big grudge match. Hair versus mask. Pagano Psycho Clown down the line.
Think about it. Triple Mania. Yeah, that's
Pagano doesn't have much hair to give away there, but yes.
I'm pretty sure Pagano is just who's that canceled British wrestler? I guess that doesn't narrow it down, does it?
Which one? Yeah.
Who's the guy who is emo in Progress?
Muddy Skull?
No.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, is Pagano just Jimmy Havoc with face paint?
Oh, now you mention it.
There was a lot of other stuff. I know we kind of went long and we want to go out and have a nice evening tonight, but there was a lot of other stuff. I would say go to Post Wrestling or anything from Brandon Thurston this week involving Vince McMahon and this whole merger story of what was going on with WWE and stuff. We're not necessarily the right people for that kind of stuff, but Brandon Thurston, as always, doing incredible work, and looks like he's poking the bear a whole bunch, and I respect to him for doing it. So WWE, maybe not the biggest fans of Brandon lately, but
so yeah,
gotta love it.
The judge ruling that because of the deleted messages on Signal, that the allegations are presumed, or certain allegations are presumed true because the evidence is destroyed, which is very interesting. This is in the lawsuit from shareholders that the company was sold where they didn't necessarily have the shareholders' best interests in mind, and just sold to Endeavor to ensure Vince McMahon remains in power, rather than looking at other, maybe more favorable options,
better options,
more financially beneficial, which we kind of all thought when the merger initially happened. But now we've got, voicemails from Ari Emanuel. We've got a lot of things essentially confirming that, and the likelihood is WWE will just settle. But I really hope this goes to trial, because Brandon's going to go. If it goes to court, Brandon's going to be going to check this all out. So, and it is kind of related to the Janelle Grant lawsuit as well, because Um, you know, why was Vince not favored to be leading this company if other people bought it? And it is because of that Janelle Grant lawsuit as well. So, yeah, it's all very interesting stuff. And I think it's, we're so jaded. Like, look at the current administration and stuff where rich, powerful white men get away with doing shitty stuff, a lot of shitty stuff. And I think the whole time with a lot of these lawsuits, it's, you know, I'm negative and like, yeah, but nothing's going to happen. He'll get away with it. And this seems a step forward that, yes, this is a different lawsuit. It's the shareholders thing and not the Janelle Grant thing, but seems like they might have to pay for some of the shitty things they've done.
Yeah, it's all real stinky, and sometimes if it's stinky, it means there's shit. So, WrestleNomics.com, Brandon always doing incredible work. Same with PostWrestling.com. John Pollock, Brandon Thurston, they are always on top of this stuff. And yeah, we kind of assume things as fans or people who actually care about this stuff, and this adds to the ick of WWE stuff. Of like, do I want to be watching and supporting this kind of company? And on top of that, we got TKO and them doing this whole fight on the White House lawn, and then it looks like President Trump bought shares in TKO, and then isn't that a little bit of a messy thing? Are you actually supposed to be doing that if you're then going to be promoting a show on your thing? And I don't know. Conspiracies, coincidences. That's my two favorite words today. Conspiracies and coincidences. Throw the CCs on them. There ain't no such thing. There ain't no such thing as coincidences. That's what I've decided going forward. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make me want to be a WWE fan. And then on top of that, their pay-per-views suck. So like, yeah. Look, we're all not perfect, but still, it does give me the ick of like seeing shit like that. Between the stuff of Vince McMahon trials, between Donald Trump and TKO and all that shit, I'm like, man, doesn't make me feel good, right? Like, but then they bring us back in because it's fucking wrestling, and well, yeah, I don't know. There is a whole lot of other stuff to talk about. We didn't really dive into AEW or Dynamite. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, main event of Wembley. Will it be?
I think so. I think we got another tease similar to the one after Dynasty, and I do feel that's the direction we're going.
It felt like it.
And it should be. That's they want to sell. They want to sell tickets to this thing. MJF's been fantastic, and has been doing very well for business. I think MJF's had a hell of a year, but for that crowd especially, we've seen MJF Ospreay. And I think the biggest match they have is Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, part 3. And you do it on the biggest stage. We've mentioned how much longer is Kenny going to be going, at least at a top level. Probably not that much longer. This is also probably the last show you're going to do at Wembley for a while because of ticket sales and stuff. They should rest it. They should, we complain about running Chicago all the time. They should rest Wembley after this show for a couple of years. Therefore, you throw your biggest match on it. And I think people, once they know that is the match, I do see tickets starting to move a bit more. And as good as MJF is, and what a crazy, great run and year he's had, this is the biggest match. And the fact we've had this other tease now, we've got that pay-per-view redemption, whether you want to do it as soon as Forbidden Door, just so we then know what the match is and people can buy their tickets and know and not wait. I wonder, but I think we're getting Kenny and Ospreay.
MJF has had one hell of a year. In fact, I think he's I don't think it's still Sasquatch and then MJF as my wrestler of the year so far. I got tickets to some mystery wrestling shows. Looking forward to those. But MJF is untouchable for me as a fan right now. I love to hate him and I love to watch him wrestle. He is a draw for me personally. He's just killing it on all, firing on all cylinders. I still think he should drop the title to Kenny Ospreay at Wembley. MJF Ospreay is still a great match. We've seen it a few times. It is good. Don't get me wrong. I just think they wouldn't have done these locker room angles, the teases. Moxley was there this time. There's a few different things that we could do. So I think if you were to announce Kenny, like they announced Redemption, it is happening July 26th, my birthday. We will be going to Montreal. I do imagine that maybe that's where Kenny gets the title. It's called Redemption. Maybe that's where he wins the title and it sets up for Ospreay Kenny at Wembley.
Is that too close to Wembley to do it though?
Right. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Like, would they want to pull the trigger at Forbidden Door just so then you've got 2 months and maybe you do Kenny MJF part 3 at Redemption? You know,
that already would be part 3. They fought, but like of this series, I guess you mean
for the title. Right. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I think MJF versus Andrade is what the Forbidden Door match is.
Okay. It seems as well that that MJF is kind of doing the Darby run as well, where he might be putting the title up quite regularly. That's something I think this new run, you know, the fact that he cashed in his contract originally for the 4-way and being like, nah, I don't want to do like backdoor shit. I want to prove that I'm the best. He's got the match with Roosh coming up next week. I wonder if he's going to tell a similar story to Darby, where it's like, oh, you could defend this title every week. Well, I'm better than you, so I'm going to do that as well.
And then it costs him.
Lead to him ultimately losing to Kenny.
Right. Yeah, because if you do Kenny Ospreay at Wembley, then you could do MJF. I think they're doing Andrade MJF at Forbidden Door. Maybe Swerve MJF at Wembley could be a big match as well. Moxley has got to be involved in there somewhere. Hangman comes back possibly.
Hangman rematch, like Hangman trying to. He's been disappeared for a while. I imagine he'll come back into the fold soon.
So yeah, after seeing them do it not once but twice, of the tease of it's like LeBron and Kobe next to each other in the locker room, R.I.P. It's like whoa, wait a second. There's just happens to be 2 goats hanging out more than once. I think they're up to something, and I feel like they should announce that sooner rather than later, because that might help ticket sales. Still not looking insanely great. It's May 31st at this point. Over under 30K at Wembley. Over under 35K.
They'll hit 35, I think.
35? I think that's being generous, but I would say around that as well.
I think a lot still wait.
To
see what's happening, but I think we'll get 35 minimum at Wembley.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think Dynamite necessarily packed the punch that it always needs after these big pay-per-views. I thought there was some good stuff on it, but I didn't think it still was. It still left me the way they usually do after a Dynamite, after a pay-per-view. But
it's weird, isn't it? They do this all the time. Have a killer pay-per-view, and it somewhat like still enjoyable, but underwhelming, not very newsworthy episode coming out. Whereas I think sometimes after a huge show, I just want like bam, 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 like lots of crazy shit and stories and everything and angles to kick off the next pay-per-view cycle. And we didn't really get that, which is it's something I think they do need to address.
I'm looking forward to some of the stories that they got going. Like the Forbidden Door is weird. And will this be the last Forbidden Door of the way we know it? Saw the news with New Japan talking about shareholders and shares. Okay, just throwing this out there. We just watched a AAA pay-per-view where WWE has just outright bought AAA, and operations kind of go on and they still have shows and everything like that. Is it insane to think they wanted to do the same thing with a Noah or something? They saw them kind of getting in bed with them. Is it crazy to assume that maybe they have their sights set on New Japan Pro Wrestling to do the same thing with what they're doing with AAA right now? Is that so out left field? Like, I know New Japan have crossovers and stuff, but Tanahashi retiring, end of an era, plus now all these shareholders and stuff and things changing. Cyberdog? They own like all the other wrestling stuff, including Noah, which has been in bed with WWE, including DDT and all these other things. So it's like, essentially a big monopoly on the Japanese pro wrestling scene. And I'm just wondering, is this the first step of something down the line happening where we see what WWE has done with AAA? For an example, am I getting ahead of myself? I might be.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
It doesn't sound crazy.
I don't see it happening. Because I think as long as Tanahashi is still president there, I don't see it being something he'd want to do. I mean, I don't know how much say he'd have in that, but I don't see that being something he'd want to do. I'm not sure. I think it's interesting. Bushiroad have gone out of business with them, and it's now a partnership with Cyber Agent and TV Asahi now owning it. But I don't know. I personally don't see that, but I can't rule out anything in wrestling.
Yeah, never say
I feel
never.
like if it was going to be, I feel like if there was an option for it to be bought, I think Tony Khan would have made an offer. The fact that these shares were available, the amount that Tony Khan put up for WWE, I think he'd absolutely.
That's what I'm trying to get at here is if this doesn't happen with WWE, then would Tony Khan be like, hey, I want to be involved in New Japan. I want to take over some stuff. You would imagine there's a bit of something there. Again, I'm getting completely ahead of this. I'm just when that story came out about the shares and things changing, that could potentially change things down the line. I'm not saying this year. It could be next year. We don't know. But it is interesting because we just spent time talking about WWE AAA and Triple Mania and all this shit. It's like, stranger things have happened is all I'm saying. So maybe Forbidden Door this year, it'll turn into some sort of Forbidden Window and cease to exist. But who knows? Maybe Tony Khan just goes, fuck it. I'll buy the lion. Let's go. Let's do it. Well, there you go. That's kind of everything that's been going on in the world of wrestling this week. Anything else?
Speedball and Kevin Knight next week. Feels a little rushed. This is going to be the match before the match, isn't it? These two. Yeah.
We need to get to Redemption where it's like the one-on-one grudge match where it's finally maybe Kevin Knight quote unquote injures him this week or something, but. Yeah, I think we're gonna get a series of matches between the two of them. What was Speedball wearing? He looked like a Jedi Knight with that
weird suit jacket gi he had on.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Strange.
But yeah, I think they'll be adding some heat with Dynamite this week, and that's definitely a match to watch this Wednesday. But yeah, there we go. All the wrestling going on in the world. If you're listening to us, thank you very much. Appreciate all the listeners out there. Again, give us a follow if you use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even TikTok. Search at Poisonrana Pod. Check out all the other content that we do, including other podcasts. Patreon.com/Poisonrana. We do tons of wrestling reviews, movie reviews, and so much more. It's $5. It gives you hundreds of different pods that we've done, connects to your RSS feed in your podcast app, and makes it super easy. And appreciate all the Poison Pals, the Frogs, and the friends out there worldwide. Hope you have a good week. Happy May, happy June. And we'll talk to you this upcoming Tuesday night. We'll be back for Up Next over on Post Wrestling. And then next week? What do we have? It feels like every weekend there's wrestling, but it feels like next week there's not a wrestling weekend, finally.
That's okay.
And that's okay, too. It gives us time to chill out and still talk about whatever else is going on. But thank you, everybody.
Please like and subscribe to YouTube. That's our biggest mission right now, is to get these YouTube numbers up there. So please like, comment, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. It costs you nothing, and it will help us out a long way. So
absolutely.
And stuff we've got.
Drop a frog in the comments. If you're watching on YouTube or Insta, leave some frogs and some nice comments. It goes a long way, and we can't do this without the listeners and everyone out there. Really do appreciate it.
Jake, thank you for the super chat. We did answer your question in the body of the show when we were talking about Wembley, but appreciate it as always, Jake.
He says, do you guys think AEW should take a break from Wembley? Yes, 100%.
Yes.
Come to Toronto. The water's warm up here in the north. Come to Toronto. All in New York is probably the the next bet next year, Jake. But appreciate the super chat. That is it. That is all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And buenas noches.
Ahoy!